Okay, this is the answer key for the bookwork from lesson 8-8. All right, and so when we're looking at this guy here, we are going to go ahead and we are going to group, right? 4 terms, so we group. And then we're going to pull a GCF now out of each grouping. So 14 and 8 have a 2 in common. And then I'm looking at y to the third and y squared. I can pull out 2y's. So I'm going to get a 7y plus 4. Now out of the second grouping, my GCF is only a 1. I can always pull a 1 out, and then that'll just keep the inside the same. So now remember, that's kind of key. Our insides need to match. Okay, so I need this guy right here and this guy right here to be the exact same thing. When you do that, then when you rewrite it, remember, we're going to put together your outside numbers. Put together your outside numbers. So you're going to get 2y squared plus 1. Okay, so outside numbers go together. And then rewrite the inside, 7y plus 4. Okay, all right, number 16, same thing. We're going to group. So I'm going to go ahead and put these two guys together. I'm going to pull out w squared. And so I'll have 11w minus 9. Now in the second part again, all I can pull is the 1 out and get, 11w minus 9. So again, my insides match, so I'm going to put together my two outsides and get w squared plus 1 and 11w minus 9. And that right there is my answer. Okay, number 18 here. Okay, so on 18, again, make sure we're looking for GCF in all the parts first. Now in this case, no GCF, so we're back to grouping. Now let's keep that negative with that 40, right? Make sure that negative stays with that 40. So now I'm going to pull out a GCF of 3k squared. And so when I divide, I'm going to get 4, 1k left, minus 9, and then both k's got pulled out. Now on the second guy over here, I can pull out a 10, but I'm going to go ahead and make it a negative 10 so that my signs will match. So now when I divide negative 40 by negative 10, I'm going to get a positive 4k, and then 90 divided by negative 10 is negative 9. So I'm going to rewrite 3k squared minus 10, and then 4k minus 9. Again, notice I'm putting together my insides, and also notice how I am got the insides to match. Okay, number 20. Okay, again, we're looking for a GCF. There's not a GCF in all parts here, so I'm going to go ahead and go straight to my grouping. Okay, again, keep that negative with that, negative 8 with that 8. Or sorry, keep the negative with the 8. All right, let's pull out a GCF of a 9 and an h squared. And so I'm going to get a 2h plus 5. Okay, now on the second one, I'm going to pull out a negative 4. Okay, and that's going to turn this over to a positive 2h plus 5. So now when I rewrite it, put together your outsides. So the negative 4h squared, sorry, dang it, 9h squared minus 4, and then the 2h plus 5. Okay, all right, number 22 here. Okay, so on this one, this is GCFs. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out a 4. Okay, so let's pull a 4 out of all parts. So I'm going to get a 2p to the third minus 8p squared plus 7p minus 28 when I do that. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and make these closed off brackets just to make the parentheses a little easier to understand. Okay, now once you pull your GCF, you're right back to grouping. All right, so just put these guys together. So I'm going to pull out a 2 and a p squared and get a p minus 4 left. I'm going to pull out a 7 out of this and get p minus 4 left. So now my insides are matching, which is good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and drop in that 4. Okay, so now make sure that 4 shows up in your final answer. Now put together your outsides, right? The 2p squared plus 7 and p minus 4. Okay. All right, next problem. Not really sure how this guy ended up so far up, but let's drop him down a little bit out of the way. All right, so again, when I'm looking at number 24 here, I see a GCF of 5. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out a 5. I'm going to get G, not just a 5. What else should I be pulling out here? Need to pull out a G, don't I? All right, so then I'm going to get G to the third minus g squared plus 4g minus 4. Okay, now we go to our grouping. So I'm going to pull out a g squared here out of this first guy and get g minus 1 left. Okay, remember there's always a 1 in front, so if you pull out both variables, there's still a 1 there. Okay, on this one I'm going to pull out a 4 and get g minus 1. So now I rewrite it as g squared plus 4, g minus 1, and then let's not forget this whole way through, I actually have a GCF of 5g sitting out front that I need to address. So there's your final answer. Okay. All right, and last guy here, number 26. Okay, again, I've got a GCF. Now this one was a big one, all right? You had to find out that there was a 6 that was going to come out of this. So I'm going to get 6v to the third minus 21v squared plus 8v minus 28. Okay, now I'm going to group, keeping the 6 on the outside. So I've got a 3v squared that I can bring out of that first grouping, 2v minus 7. Out of the second grouping, I can pull out a 4 and get 2v minus 7. Again, the insides should match. So now we've got 3v squared plus 4 and 2v minus 7. GCF of 6 is sitting out front. Okay. All right, and that concludes the answer key for lesson 8.8 bookwork.